Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am going to do a quick book review today on E.L. Croucher's novel Horn-Winged Blessed. And so this is Horn-Winged Blessed, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I thought about this novel and sort of what the takeaways are. So just a brief synopsis of it. We follow the main character, Joan. Joan is the daughter of the Silver Party's leader. After there was a World War III, she kind of took over Britain and turned it into the Silver Party. And the way that this party operates is that the horned are now women, the winged are men, and the blessed are all others. So anyone that falls into that LGBTQ category would be considered blessed. And so just from the society, it's very handmaid-esque. So you'll see from the society that women are able to kind of do whatever they want to do, and men are cast out as like these evil, violent creatures. And so they have a lot of issues that you would see women have today. So anyway, in this sort of utopia that Joan's mother believes she's created, she has her daughter who's going to now take over the mantle, right? When it's time for her to pass it on, she wants to pass it on to her daughter. Joan lives inside this little bubble, okay, within this palace that she lives in. So she doesn't really understand how people are being treated outside of her home. So one day she goes to the trials with her best friend, and the trials is where she gets to see how justice works in this new society. After going to the trials and seeing some of the things that people are being cast out or exiled from the community for, as well as sudden death, things like that, she starts to understand what her friends are saying about it being not so much a utopia for everyone, but only for women. And so her mother whisks her away to the Sisterhood Coven, who are a group of women who are in power all around the UK. And they're basically running these societies the same way that her mother is, and this idea is continuing to grow and expand, and they're hoping to take it to America. And so she's seeing how these women are interacting and how they are so power hungry, and she's starting to realize that the idea that her mother had in the beginning is not quite the idea of what it's becoming now. And so she really doesn't want to take over the mantle for her mother anymore. Unfortunately, her mother does not want to hear that. And so they get into this big argument about it, and her mother's very overbearing, and so she just is quiet about it and silently stewing on the inside. During this time, there is a raid that happens on the palace, and things go all out of whack. And so for whatever reason, I can't tell you guys without giving it away, but Joan is starting to have thoughts about maybe joining a rebel faction, but she also cares that her mother's legacy is still intact because she loves her mother. And so it's a very complex book. I believe that E.L. Croucher did a great job in her writing and in also trying to build this whole world and environment that is very believable. There are some downturns though. I rated this a 3.25 out of 5 stars for a reason. One of those stars were taken away because there's rampant insta-love, and there's so many cliches in here with, you know, Joan falling in love with every man that she comes across. And so I'm not sure if the author was doing that on purpose to show that Joan is not wise in the ways of the world, or if this was that flaw that an author has where if there's a man, then they have to be attracted to the main character, and then the main character has to be in love with them in some fashion. And so I found that to be very frustrating reading this book because I wanted her to be this strong, independent character, and anytime a man was around, she would not be that. And so that was a little bit disheartening. Also in the story, there are some things that were not completed. So the other family distinctions and family lines were not completed as well as explained well enough. And so when people pop up in the story and they're a family member, you kind of want to know a backstory and kind of memories that they have or whatever. And it doesn't happen that way. It's becomes very surface level. And so I think that was one of the major flaws as well, was that some of the characters were very surface level, and so the readers can't get too deep into some of the twists that happen in the book, because you don't really feel as much for the characters outside of Joan. And so overall, like I said, this is a very Handmaid-esque tale. If you like that kind of story, I think that you should give this one a try. I found it to be very interesting, and I think the world itself, deserves a cool little look, because it is interesting. So again, Horn Winged Blessed by E.L. Croucher. And if you support authors that are not mainstream, which I do, then I would say go out and purchase this book, and try it out and let me know what you think. If you like book reviews, make sure that you comment, like, subscribe below. When we hit 1,000 followers, then I start giving away books that I review, because I don't need them anymore. I can send them to one of you to read. And so once we hit that, that's our goal. After that, you can also check out some of the written reviews on ragingbookraeviews.com, and you'll be able to kind of read my thoughts after reading the book. And so there's a ton of book reviews on there. It may be some books that you're interested in reading, especially those that are independent. I implore you to support authors that aren't getting picked up by big companies, because you will find a diamond in the rough. And I'm here to help you with that. So if you go on the Raging Book Reviews page and look under independent tags, you will be able to see what I rated those, and some of the higher rated ones. You know that you can go ahead and grab those and enjoy and support an author. And so other than that, I have other book reviews coming at you shortly. So I hope to see you on the channel, and hope that you subscribe and stick around. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.